Hi, I've been getting this strong call to review the lessons in A Course in Miracles. I've been following the calendar lessons throughout the year, so I'm in my last days of finishing those up. What's the date today? Oh, tomorrow's New Year's Eve. Okay, so 2 more days and I'll be done with the calendar lessons, and I'm just going to start them right back up again. But I have been given the call to do a multi-day review of all the lessons in A Course in Miracles. So it's the workbook. There's a workbook for A Course in Miracles. So spoiler alert, if you haven't done the lessons, you're not supposed to do more than one per day. So there's your warning. But yeah, if you have done all the lessons, this just goes right back through it. And when I've heard other people doing it, I found it so helpful, and then I started to get the call to do it myself. Okay, so lesson 1. Nothing I see in this room or on this street, from this window, in this place, means anything. So thank goodness. What a burden. What a burden gone. All the surface meaning that ego would give to any picked out as separate part of the illusion we're looking upon doesn't mean anything, and I don't have to fuss about it. I don't have to organize my life around it. I don't have to effort around it, because none of it's real. But Spirit is here, the light is here to carry us through whatever remains of our perception of illusion. So that's good news. Lesson 1. Lesson 2. I have given everything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place, all the meaning that it has for me. Yes, I have, because I invented ego, and anybody can say that, just kind of waking up to what ego is and what ego isn't. So I have invented ego, and so I've subscribed to ego's thought streaming service, and it's up to me whether or not to believe the thoughts that ego sends me. So what does ego send me? Thoughts about it picks out separate things from the illusion I'm experiencing, and then it gives those separate things meaning and value and power, either especially for certain characters or certain things and situations, or especially against. So yeah, I am the one mind, so are you, and we give power to whatever aspect of ego we're looking on. And it's all our power, it's all our shared power. Okay, I do not understand anything I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. That's true, it's not understandable because it's not real. But whatever needs to be understood, Spirit understands it. So it's kind of the evolution of my total dependence on Spirit. Do I still believe that I need to defensively analyze and interpret every separate aspect of the illusion I bump into? I sure do, and I can feel it, but I've allowed so much of it to fall apart that I am into that relaxing phase of if I bump into my defensiveness, my trying to hold the apparent meaning of the illusion together, I can also relax out of it. Okay, lesson 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. They are like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. Ego's thoughts do not mean anything, and they needn't trouble me or anyone else. Ego thoughts, when I believe them, make the illusion I'm experiencing, but Spirit's thoughts also make the illusion I'm experiencing. So as my allegiance changes, then I start to experience an alignment with a happy dream. But ego's thoughts, all the thoughts it sends about seemingly separate aspects of time and space or anything sensory, it's just the thoughts ego sends me, and I can be fooled by them or not. It's always my choice. I am never upset for the reason I think. Yeah, because I cannot have us upset without it being about some aspect of the illusion I made, which is not real. So at the root of it all, is the idea that I believe I created something that fights and could ultimately destroy God. I'm trying to destroy or block out my father or my creator or my parent or whatever it is from what I spring. I'm trying to destroy that and having allegiance to this illusion. But this illusion can't overpower what is the only power there is without end and what is fully shared with all of us. It can't do that. It can pretend to, for as long as I allow it to pretend to do that. So I'm never upset because something went wrong in the life I experience here. I'm upset because I think I've done something terribly wrong and I'm probably going to be punished, and I'm expecting that punishment at any moment, and the illusion I made keeps acting out that punishment upon different characters or upon me in different ways. That's why I'm upset. That's the base root thought of the ego, that I have done this and it's real and it's offended God. So I'm not upset about those other things. Those are just reasons the ego has given me, and I believed them. Any reason I think I'm upset today or annoyed or irritated or tired, it's not really that. It's something, I'm using the idea of that thing to cover up the reason I'm really upset. I am upset because I see something that is not there. Yeah. If I were just aware of where I truly am right now, at home in heaven with you, with no problems and no illusions, I could not be upset. But because I'm hallucinating, I'm upset about that. I'm upset about the effect and the power I think the hallucination has. Really, it doesn't have any power. The power belongs to the one Son of God. Let's see, maybe I said that wrong, because what the mind makes is powerful. It's a powerful mind. The mind of the Son of God is a powerful mind. So we're not going to discount that, but what's here to undo what I made up is the ultimate power. It has the final say. In the end, all the illusion I've made up here does get undone. So I can recognize that inevitability and take comfort in that. Okay. Was that lesson 6? Yeah. Lesson 7, I see only the past. So every aspect of time and space is just the past. And when I say the past, I mean it never happened. So all illusion is the past. All illusion never happened, but it seems to be happening now. And that's okay, because we have spirit, and spirit's going to guide us through and out of what we're perceiving. Okay, lesson 8. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. So as long as I'm perceiving and experiencing time and space, I'm hooked up to this feed of ego thought. And so what is part of the mind training of A Course in Miracles is I learn to hear ego's thoughts and then seek a better source for thought. To know that ego thought is just past thought, and it just analyzes and gives meaning and value to separate aspects of the illusion that aren't actually real, that aren't the ultimate shared benign power that's available to all of us now. So I learn to turn to spirit. I learn to turn to spirit as the source of my thought. And these lessons of A Course in Miracles are kind of like spiritual starter pack. You know, if you want a thought from spirit, then just look at whatever lesson you've been focusing on. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. Start with that. That's a thought of spirit. And you are a thought of God. Focus on what you really are, even if you don't know. I'm going to focus on what I really am. And don't let the ego answer that for you. Ego is going to give you a lot of positive and negative and back and forth and opposites. But what are you really? Or take a spiritual starter thought from one of the lessons from A Course in Miracles, and from that focus, then inspiration comes during our day to guide us through what we're experiencing. Lesson 9, I see nothing as it is now. True. Because nothing real is of time or space. And if we're talking about physical sight is not now. Physical sight is the past. But then spirit allows us or enables us, assists us in recognizing inner sight or vision. We're just going into what we really are and resting there. And that sight is not from the past. That sight is now. So Spirit gives us substitute sight. Okay, lesson 10. My thoughts do not mean anything. So if I'm saying my thoughts is the thoughts I invented, ego thoughts, they seem to mean a lot. They seem to mean many separate and different and opposing things, but they don't mean anything. And when I can recognize they don't mean anything, then I look deeper for the meaning. And there's spirit past any meaning ego has given, any thought that it's sending to me. If I know it doesn't mean anything and I look beyond it, I look deeper, here's spirit. And then spirit can tell me what's really going on and can tell me what I should do, where I should go, what I should say. Lesson 11. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. So a thought is like a block that you would use if you were a child building something with blocks. Each thought is a block in what you're building. So my experience can be built out of ego thoughts, but increasingly my experience can be built out of spirit's thoughts. And spirit's thoughts make a happy illusion, a happy dream. So ego thoughts show me a meaningless world. But as I start to set ego thought aside and accept spirit's thoughts make a happy illusion where what's overwhelmingly obvious to me is that everything here is harmless. Nothing can hurt anyone. I'm fully aware of what everyone is, the one joined, loved, loving, lovable mind of God's child, and nothing of time or space. And I'm fully aware of that, and I'm fully aware that nothing can harm me or what I call anyone else. So yeah, ego thoughts show me a meaningless world, but as I look beyond, in our mind training, we get taught to make a happy illusion or a happy dream. I am upset because I see a meaningless world. Yeah, I can't be upset about anything real. That doesn't cause upset. Upset is of the ego. It's another illusion. Being upset is another illusion. It's like a separate contracted being in a contracted state, which we can't be. We can't be contracted and we can't be separate, but can we imagine such a thing? Yes. So when I'm upset, that's what I'm imagining, and I'm using ego thought to imagine that. Okay, lesson 13. A meaningless world engenders fear. So, if I'm fully aware of where I actually am, in heaven with all my divine siblings, perfectly safe, held in love forever, there is no fear. Fear doesn't exist. Fear is illusion. But I made a meaningless world with ego thought. And in this world, I am both separate and vulnerable, and so is everybody else. And there's fear here. So the illusion of fear is here, and it's because of the illusion that I made with ego thoughts. And again, anyone could say, I made this illusion, because we're all the same one. So when you wake up to what you're doing with thought and the cause and effect of thought, anyone can say, I made ego, I made the illusion, I made this up. Okay, let's see where I am. Lesson 14. God did not create a meaningless world. This is true. The meaningless world is my invention, and I can let go of it. And that's what A Course in Miracles teaches us how to do. We've scared ourselves silly with this meaningless world we made, where I'll just take responsibility. With the meaningless world I made, I've scared myself silly with it. And I need a lot of help to set it down, to be taught how to make a harmless world. And then once I've made the harmless world, there's there's no value in it, because I have actually been at home or like in a coma, you know. I just wake up out of that illusion. I don't need the happy illusion to exist in forever, because I'm already existing forever in God's love. So I just wake up out of that illusion. Okay, lesson 15. My thoughts are images that I have made. Yes. Images can be separate and in opposition to one another, and can affect each other especially positively or especially negatively, and that's what I made. But behind that is the light, and that's what A Course in Miracles teaches me to focus on as the real thing that's here. I have no neutral thoughts. All the ego thoughts I invented conflict with each other in various ways, or agree with each other, especially in alliance against other thoughts. The thoughts are just engaging in fisticuffs with each other all the time, going back and forth, having a good old time being opposite to each other, and they're meaningless, and they're not my real thoughts. So there you go. When I notice that I am having a reaction, it's because I've believed one of these thoughts that can't be neutral, and so it disturbs my peace. I am peace, you are peace. Peace is the only real thing. But when something seems to disturb our peace, it's a thought about an illusion. Okay, I see no neutral things. How could I see neutral things if none of my thoughts are neutral? And here I would speak as ego. All of my thoughts as ego are not neutral, so nothing I see can be neutral, so there's no peace for me. There's no rest for me as ego, as the separated one, striving for its separate life with a destiny of death, in competition and conflict with all the other ones it sees as other, or needing to make special alliances because of threat and vulnerability with ones it sees as other. Yeah, it's a whole big mess. So believing ego thoughts, I can't see anything neutral. Okay, lesson 18. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. Well, who is with me here? All the ones I call other. But they are me. There's one mind. We're all joined in one mind. We can pretend and refer to separate minds because it helps us along the way to not try to take too much of a leap away from where ego put us. But really, we're all here in one mind together. And when I learn to focus upon the light, I share that ability with everyone I call other. When I learn to see you as the light, I learn to experience myself as that light, that goodness without opposite. So the effect, in a very beneficial way, is shared. The effect of focusing on what's real is shared. I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. So conflict in, conflict out. If I believe conflicting thoughts within, which I still do, I'm going to see conflict without, and I'm going to see you outside of me because you're my mirror, also believing conflicting thoughts. But when I develop a commitment to accepting the thoughts of Spirit, or going with the flow of Spirit, or flowing with Spirit's guidance, then I also see that in you because you're my mirror. Okay. Did I just say I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts? 18 was I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I experience what I believe. How do I know what I believe? What am I experiencing? That shows me. Okay, lesson 20. I am determined to see. So I, as my true self, know I have fallen into a bad dream, and now I'm determined to see. I'm determined to set down what is unreal and to remember what is real. Thank goodness. Okay, lesson 21. I am determined to see things differently because I've seen physically and then in my interpretations in my mind on the basis of conflict. And now I can learn, I can be taught to see on the basis of wholeness, on the basis of goodness without opposite, on the basis of your goodness without opposite, on the basis of our eternal harmony. And that is such a relief, such a relief. So yeah, there we are. Okay, how far did we get? We got through lesson 21, and I think I'll stop there and do another one. I'm not going to predict when I'll do another one because I know myself too well, but I'll do it when I do it. Thank you.